Hey, okay, so day 2 of practicing the sit pretty command with Wilson, the cockapoo. As always, I'm multitasking and Henry's kicking around in the background because he'd do this all day long. So, let's just really quickly talk about contextual changes because it's something that's come up recently for me in training with other people. When Wilson goes home, okay, to see his owners, it may well be that his owners, regardless of the level that I get the understanding of this sit pretty behaviour to here, it may well be that he doesn't understand it as well when he goes home. Okay, that's normal, right? We've done a video on that before about generalising, why dogs struggle with distractions, etc., etc. So, when he goes home, there'll be at least 2 contextual changes. So the contextual change number 1 is location, in that he'll be in his home environment, not here with me, in any of the locations that we've practiced the behaviour in. Contextual change number 2 will be that it will be a different person asking the behaviour of him rather than myself. It will be his owner. Hey, Jackie. So it's not surprising, therefore, if we understand dog behaviour well, it's not surprising then that the dog would struggle with that. And it's no big deal. The dog knows the behaviour, they just don't understand it within those contextual changes. Again, we've covered this before in a previous video. So what we need to make sure that we're always doing then is to strip the training right back and go back to the luring process. No big deal. Each time we have to do that in a new location, the time it takes will become lesser and lesser because the neural pathway is becoming stronger in the behaviour. Okay? So we're still not at the point where we've actually got this on a verbal cue, unsurprisingly, because we've only been doing it for a couple of days. But I am starting to phase that in because I know Wilson very well and I know that he's ready for that. Ordinarily we wouldn't start doing that, but I know that I'm able to do that with Wilson because we go way back. So let's do a really quick session on it. Boy, Hannah's. Wilson. Sit. Good. So now we're going to try and add a little bit of duration. Boy, sit. See that? Sit. Good boy. Pretty. Good. Yes. Pretty. Good. Yes. Pretty. Good. Yes. Handler. Sit. Good boy. Good. Yes. Pretty. Good. No. Pretty. Yes. So, when we're trying to add that little bit of duration, sometimes Wilson's got a tendency to fully stand on his back legs. Okay, that's not what I want, it's no big deal, but I'm communicating to him that it's not what I want by just marking it with my negative marker. No. Negative marker, again, let's just quickly cover that. Doesn't need to be aggressive. No, bad dog. It just needs to be, no. We could consistently say banana in the context of a behaviour being wrong, and it would have the same effect. Okay, so you could say it doesn't have to be no, it could be wrong or nope or whatever, but I just tend to say no because it's easier for me, because frankly I'm not that hung up about it that it bothers me that I say no to a dog, because I say yes far more frequently and I have a good connection with all of my dogs. So that's a little bit of a rant about people that don't like negative markers, because it's no big deal for me. But it is for some people, and if it is, you can just do a no reward marker of just not communicating at all, just total silence. To me, no is just a word. I could be saying banana, as I say. So, yeah, but I'm communicating to him when it is wrong, no, and then just resetting. Take note of that. If the dog is consistently, Wilson, good boy, if the dog is consistently So with Wilson, he's consistently at a certain level of time raising up onto his back legs. So then strip it back a bit. Make the time that you're asking for, the duration that you're asking for, less. Okay. Do another really quick session with him. Perfect. Good boy. Sit. Hey. Sit. Good boy. Yeah. No. Wilson. Wilson. Boy. Sit. Good. Okay, this behaviour can take a long time for the dog to achieve really good duration, and that is because we're really trying to increase the core strength there. Okay, so the process that I did with Henry, go. Make sure he's in the shot. Come here. Henry, here. Good boy, sit. Good boy, sit pretty. Good. So he can do it for longer than that, but that level of duration has taken a long time to build because we're conditioning those stomach muscles, the core strength, and there's lots of different things that you can do to help complement that using balance pods. Yeah, so that's something else that I might do a video on, actually, the balance pods, which are awesome, and I use those as well, so kind of dual function, dogs and people. So the reason this has come up is because somebody else raised it to me. And this can happen with any behaviour you teach, that when you then, so we do residential training, right? I do residential training. Sometimes that doesn't always translate immediately when the dog goes home because of those contextual changes, regardless of how much I have tried to generalise the behaviour to different locations here with me. Okay? And I think the main reason for that is the contextual change of a different person being involved. So the dog already understands that with me, I'm a constant in that training picture. It's always me, regardless of the environment that I generalise the behaviour to with a dog, I'm always constant. So owners shouldn't therefore be surprised when we have to strip that training back to the acquisition stages, but don't freak out about it. You know, it shouldn't take long. If you just spend time luring that behaviour for a couple of days, it will be there because the dog's understanding of it is in there. Okay, we're just changing a little part of the picture, which is it being with the owner rather than with myself or any trainer. So sometimes that can happen, for example, with somebody that I spoke to, even with a dog sitting, okay, like a young puppy. If you're struggling with something really simple like a sit, just take it straight back to the luring stage immediately. Treat to the end of the dog's nose. Make sure that they're interested in the treat. Bring it up. Wilson. Good boy. Move the treat up and reward. Good. Over and over again. Then move the dog a little. Move the treat up. Reward. Move the dog a little. Move the treat up. Reward. The second that the bum goes down, move the dog forward. Sit. Yes. Move the dog. Sit. Yes. Move the dog. Sit. Yes. Good boy. Okay, free. The more repetitions that you have practicing a behaviour, the stronger the neural pathway in the dog's brain will become. Okay? So even if it's something really simple like a sit, it doesn't matter whether it's sit pretty, down, whatever. Practice, practice, practice. If your dog is struggling, don't be afraid to go back to luring. Okay, because it shouldn't take long if the dog truly knows it to then layer that back up and get the final result. So I'm going to do a little bit more sit pretty training. Let's see if we can just get a few on a verbal cue. We're pushing it because it shouldn't be done so early, but we'll see. Wilson. Good boy. Henry, could you move? Good boy. Yes. Henry, out the way. Good boy, Ross. So pretty? Yes. So pretty? Yes. So pretty? Yes. Good boy. Ready? Yes. Good job, buddy. Ready? Yes. Good boy. Ready? Yes. Ready? Yes. Ready? Good. Yes. Ready? Yes. Ready? Yes. Good boy. Okay, Frank. Yeah, so that's just a really quick recap on how we're progressing with the Sit Pretty, and also just a really brief discussion there about, again, generalising distractions, and to not freak out if a dog suddenly regresses in a behaviour, and to truly understand why that is. It's no big deal, just go back to luring for a couple of sessions, a couple of days. It's in here somewhere, it's just reactivating it, okay? So, yeah, go on then, Train your dogs.